of other people in good ways or bad ways. You know, and the water's a really good analogy. If we polluted, say there was a river here, we pollute it here, it'll affect everybody downstream of us. It's the same thing with water. It's the same thing with time. It's the same thing with a lot of things. So just be aware of what you're doing. Try and clean up after yourself and be responsible with water, especially. that's about it. That's the meaning. Thank you, guys.
So what was the question?
The final words, last things you want to let people know.
I think it was a good thing that we went and that we learned, and like these guys know a lot more about it, but it kind of just sparked like to know, like to look at the water coming down and how we can, make things better like that. And I think this was just like a starting point, or like, to get us to think differently about the environment.
I'm gonna add one more thing. I did it. I wanted to say. So, the another important thing is that it's not just people. There's all these birds and all this fish and all the trees and all the plants that were here long before we came. And so when you see things like that, animals start coming back, or you see a nice diversity. That's something that it's like something to treasure, because once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
And whatever they did in the environment is also gone. If they were to be the little scavenger beetles or the mosquitoes that all the birds eat, or whatever it is, anything that's here already has a place. So we have a place here too. We just got to be responsible. That's what I was getting. That's one thing I want to say.
Yep.
I think the thing that I wanted to end on, which is something that Kevin had said earlier in the discussion, and that's like thinking about the future. So at Regen, we kind of have this like little campaign going on, and really like a overall goal for everything that we do, and that's like Team 2100 is basically what we call it, and it's like making sure that everything that we do today is thinking about the future at hand. And how Kevin just said, like, we kind of have to become, we have to accept that we're starting to head into a future that is really uncertain, and all of the resources that we have today aren't always going to be there. Because if we aren't responsible for what the resources that we have, I really fear that like there's going to be a conflict. Like there's going to be a lot of conflicts. I don't know if you guys are looking into like the world news, but there's already wars going around on Earth for lack of resources, and it doesn't seem like it's right in your face, but it's always that looming, eerie background creature that's like kind of coming after all of us. And at the end of the day, like it's really like humanity comes together, or we're all going to fight each other to survive. So just like keeping that at the forefront of like, let's build something right now. Let's look towards the future. How are we going to make sure we preserve all of these resources for the future? How are we going to make what we're doing today last 100 years, and so on? And how are we going to teach the younger generations to also be stewards of being responsible over these resources? Something that Chris always says is being a good ancestor, and that's something that I have really started to take to heart, and in everything that I do, because just like how Chris said he started Regenerating Sonora, whenever your kids ask you, what did you do during this time, or anyone for that matter, any young person in the future, what did you do? I want to be able to tell them, I fought for this, I was an activist for this, and I actually did the work so that you can have water here now. So that's really important to me, is that having the future and the kids in the forefront of everything that we do, because we're the ones that are in charge of their future. And I think back to myself and like the world that I'm born into. I think like, what if the things that we're doing today were done 100 years ago? How amazing would my life be if this was implemented? And like thinking about the Arboretum and how that was, those seeds of the Arboretum were planted over a century ago, and now it's such a beautiful oasis in this desert. And so, yeah, just thinking about the future and having that in the middle of our mission. So that's where I'll leave that.
Yay.
Question is final words. What do you want to make sure that people hear?
I don't know. That doesn't say me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's all right. All right. Well, look. Let's give it our panelists here, our adventurers, our ecological restorationers, a round of applause, please. One more time. Yeah. No. Thank you very much for coming. It's very important that you went. And just y'all wait when we say, yeah, remember when you guys just first went on that trip? Because what's gonna happen from y'all having gone is gonna be big, and it's gonna be bigger than probably any of us, including myself, really realize. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for all the work that y'all do. You may or may not know that the folks here are doing a lot of work for this community all the time. So thank you.